In this video, get a great experience when viewers decide to lurk. Hello and welcome to Streamer Bot Bytes, where I cover how to set up and to make the most of the awesome Streamer bot. There is one video per topic to make it easy as possible to follow and find. When relevant, sample import code will be provided to make it even easier for you to get started and to add functionality to your stream. So let's get started with the topic for this video. VisualLurk is super easy to implement into OBS. It's actually the same as Emote Rain. You just need to add in a browser source, and we'll call this Emote Rain with VisualLurk. It really doesn't matter what you call it, it's really for your reference. We'll set the dimensions to be the full canvas size, so in this case 1920 by 1080. We do not select local file. Go to vrflad.com/emote-rain/. Now, if you want all functionality, you can use all. This gives you the full set of Emote Rain functionality. If you want subsets of the Emote Rain functionality, along with the lurk behavior, look at the description below. All the options are within there. And if you just want the lurk functionality and none of the Emote Rain in this browser source, use $lurk only. That's just going to react only to the lurk. So we'll use that for today. That's then OBS set up and ready to go. There's two parts to setting up StreamerBot for the lurk. The first one is we need to make sure that the WebSocket server is set up. So you go to Server Clients, WebSocket Server, enable Auto Start and Start Server. Next, we'll need to set up an action for a lurk command. Now, if you have one already, super easy, you just need to rename it. But if you don't, VisualLurk like this is how to have an action name. This is super important. This is also in the description below. So if you want to do a copy and paste to get the spelling and capitalization perfect, that's what you do. Now this command actually needs to do something. You can't just have the command on its own. So what we're going to do here is send a message to channel and saying user is now lurking. Now finally, one more step, just to create a command for the lurk. Again, if you have this already, you might have to reevaluate command. So we'll put the command in there. It doesn't matter what command it is, as long as the action name is assigned. I'm going to link the action to VisualLurk. Use a cooldown. I'd highly recommend 2 minutes, maybe 1 minute, because it's a visual command. You don't want people to spam that. No permissions needed to be changed. And that's the last of the setup. And now let's test the lurk command. Now typically users only have a moment to be able to use this between the cooldowns, but you can see here as a broadcaster we don't have cooldowns. It's coming from random directions each time, from the bottom, the sides and the top as well. Today I'm just going to explain the differences in the code from the Emote Rain, so you may want to refer to that code for the Emote Rain parts. We pull in from the URL parameters to check for lurk only, so that's going to be lurk only. If that's defined, then it's lurk only support. We can see that's the first thing we check here. And then it goes up to here, which is an else statement, and then that continues to be the same Emote Rain code there. It lets the console know it's using lurk only. It defines what we are going to connect to the bot with. So we're going to do raw actions. Now raw actions are going to be the events where whenever an action is run, we're going to get a name associated with that. The next part of the code, which is lurk only, is here. And we check for basically the VisualLurk command being run here. So we check to see if the events are defined in the first place, then check for VisualLurk. We get the username, And then we initiate some code, which is through external HTTP, to get the username's image. So that actually goes down to here, triggers the request list with the username there to give back the image location. When we get that response, we get the username, the user response there. We get the response back. We look at the container we're going to inject the lurk into, which is on the web page, the full screen of that. We get the div, which is like I created a new element to put into the web page. We give it a number because that's being used for the cleanup code later on. The background is going to be the URL that we've got back, so it's going to be the display image. Now, in the styles, this is actually slightly larger than before, so it's about 400 by 400 pixels. We then do a random between 4. So math.random times 4 plus 1 is going to give us between 1 and 4. Switch means we're going to look at that value of random, and depending on what it comes back with is going to depend what we're going to do. So if it's 1, we go left, 2, it's right, 3, top, and by default, or 4 is going to be bottom. Now, these only call a library called tween_light. And that is going to create a new element. It's going to put the class lurking element on there. These are starting positions for it. So for the left, we're off the screen to left. So X is minus 400. Y is a random part between either the top of the screen to 400 pixels above the bottom. So that means it's always going to fit that on. The right, again, the Y is going to be the same, but the X is going to be the far right hand side of the browser window. So it's going to be dynamic to the size of the browser we have, the browser source. 3 is slightly different. We're going to have X is going to be random. Y is going to be 400, so it's 400 pixels above, so we won't see the image in the initial state. Rotation is 180 degrees, so that means the picture's upside down. Finally, the bottom is again random on the x-axis. On Y, it's off the screen. It's just starting at the height and goes down. We then append that into the element that we store all these objects. And then we do a bit of cleanup, so we tell it to remove the element after 15 seconds, after everything's all fully finished. Now each of these call the lurking animation right, top, bottom. So let's go down to those functions near the bottom to understand what they do. So lurk animation left, what we're doing is the treemax.to. This will say work on the element we've just passed in. It's going to take 1 second to perform this, and what it's going to do is going to rotate the z-axis by 40 degrees. It's going to have some options there to get the right movements. The delay is going to be 0, so it starts straight away. Also at the same time, we're going to move the x-axis, so we're going to move it from the left to the right, so it's plus 200. And again, that's going at the same time. Then next, it's going to take a second again, but we delay it by 1.5 seconds. The same with both these last ones. We return it back to the same values. So it's 40 degrees angles turn back to counterclockwise and moving the x-axis back across. So it's going to look like it's going to peek in from the side and back. From the right, pretty similar, but we're doing the different things. So moving it to the left, because we're obviously off the screen to the right, and back out again. And the angles are going counterclockwise first and then clockwise afterwards. Top is really simple. It's just moving it down and back up. So the y-axis is going plus, because we start off with a negative to 400. We're showing a little bit more of the emote because it's a straight emote to work. And finally the bottom, again, this time we're reducing it by 250 pixels and back down again. And there we go, an explanation of the code. Please like and subscribe to be notified of more videos like this. If there's a topic you'd like covered, please do let me know in the comments or on Discord. Check out my Twitch stream to see the bot in action and for other examples. The links to my Twitch, social media and to StreamerBot can be found at vrflad.com. Additional links to others that provide StreamerBot content can be also found in the description. Finally, thank you Nate for making a great bot, and please consider supporting his Patreon, which is linked from streamer.bot.